The Bloomsburg Fairgrounds are notoriously tough on equipment. But with so many East Coast regulars so close to home, it's no wonder the mean machines of the Buckeye State have to push even harder. Up next, these low-slung war wagons kick up some serious dust. Welcome to the Bloomsburg Fairgrounds in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania. This is it for the Modified Tough Trucks qualifying session number 3. You can see the track walk going on behind us, and standing in the pits right now with your fast qualifier, Pat Winchester, is my colleague, Tim Howard.
All right, we're over here with Pat Winchester, driver of the Mental Case, which I'm not sure how that name came about, but it's probably because of the driver. But anyways, Pat, you went out in this last round of qualifying against Nick Anderson and blistered the track 2 seconds under anything anyone's touched all weekend. What an amazing run. How did it feel, and what do you got in store for this next round of qualifying coming up here in about an hour?
The track just really came together. It had changed a little bit since practice. It was wet yesterday, so we were able to get out today. The stock trucks, thankfully, went out before us and cleaned off some of the slop. So we were able to get out on pretty much a prime track. The conditions were perfect. Truck did everything we wanted it to, and our timing was right, so we could make a time happen. And iron sharpens iron, so Nick and I are always neck and neck. Everything's always close, and it's either if he's out ahead, I'm right behind, or vice versa. So just this time I happened to be out ahead, and he was right there. There was no gap, there was no nothing. He was right there, fractions of a second behind me. So we're hoping we can do the same thing tonight. Conditions are going to change a little bit. We're first out tonight, so we're going to have to be dealing with probably a little bit of moisture on the track. Being that we're second pair out towards the front, we have to deal with slicker track. So that's not going to be to our advantage, but we're hoping that the track crew can kind of not quite get so moist out there that we gotta fight it and
backpedal.
Yeah, because I mean, there's still time to be had. We were quick, but there's still a lot of time to be had. I foresee times getting down to 37, 38 second range possibly this weekend if conditions get right and the drivers really settle into things. So, which is a far cry from where we were at first round of qualifying. So.
Yeah, considering out of the amount of trucks that are here, and there's probably 3 to 4 second gap from first to last. I mean, everybody's really flying today, but you and Nick put on one heck of a show, man. It was kind of a little throwback to what happened out in Lima in the final, but it was a little bit better turnout for you this time, and it was quite an exciting race, man. Got me, my hair standing up on my arms watching you two out there that tight through that course and shaving 2 seconds off of everybody. Nobody's even close to you guys within 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's nice because if you're running somebody fast, not to take anything away from any other competition, but if you're running somebody at the same caliber that you are, it's a good gauge as to where you're at, and you know that, even if you finish behind that person, you were still quick. You were still right on top of it, unless both of you totally pooched around. But it really works out when you're fast and you're racing somebody that's fast or has potential to be fast. It stretches to make the other driver better.
Yeah.
That's why I've always felt it's an advantage to run somebody. You get options at places where you could have a buy run or something like that. You don't have anything to gauge yourself off of, so you don't know if you're faster, slower, or whatever that entails with it. So
yeah, it does. It helps push you. It gives you something to gauge off of. Not only are you fighting the clock, but you got that mental thing going on, win or lose against the guy you're running with. And when the two fastest trucks in the last couple months are out there together, it was entertaining, man. Thank you. I mean, as a spectator and a fan, man, it was a really good run. Looking forward to see what you guys got in the next qualifier, and hopefully we'll be talking to you tomorrow after the big show.
With any luck, we'll be right at the top of the box tomorrow. So we'll do a weekend to get there, and hopefully all the planets will align and everything will work out for us. So. Yeah.
Hey, any of your sponsors you want to give a good shout out to?
It's a long list. I know Jeremy from Gearhart's Garage is here this weekend. I can't thank my good friend Ricky Fred and Douglas Vanstrom for helping put this motor combo together and everything. And Doug does my transmissions too. Everything's just been perfect, flawless. I mean, the truck doesn't miss a beat. We're lucky to have EMF rod ends and steering and whatnot on for our suspension. Yep. things are just coming together. It's been great. We've got Yukon on board this year with some driveline stuff, so we're using them for some axle shafts and things of that nature. And then, of course, Lionex of Jamestown. They're always there when we need them for
Great group of guys.
Everything from our Holly stuff through them to just protective coatings and even stuff for our hauler. We're fortunate to have people like that on our side that can really help out. So
we can't forget Joe. I mean, Joe puts up with you and not only knows every nut, bolt, and washer on this whole truck. I mean, the guy he's definitely a benefit to the whole race package, along with those great sponsors you got.
Oh, absolutely. Joe Pitts is my crew chief, and hands down, I tell everybody that he comes up in conversation with. He's the smartest individual on the planet, bar none. It's been a learning curve for him because he's a GM tech by day. So he knows the mechanical field of things, but the performance aspect has been kind of an eye-opener for him. He's built this chassis with me. He's built the motor combo with me. We've tuned it. I mean, he does all my EFI stuff, pulls the data. We make changes. We make every little thing that happens. He knows what's going on with it. I mean, yesterday we had steering issues, and we had the power steering pump tore apart on the truck, making everything just perfect, and now the steering's better than it's ever been. He's truly genius level on this stuff, and we couldn't do it without him.
Yep.
The behind the scenes on it, definitely. And I mean, we get back from a run, by the time I have my fire suit off, the truck's nut and bolted. We know if it has an issue, if something's going on, if something's leaking, if there's something we need to address. It's all there before I even walk out of the hauler after the run. So we couldn't do it without good help like that.
Yeah, it definitely helps with the whole race package when you got someone in your corner like he is. So, again, Pat Winchester sitting first after 2 rounds of qualifying here in Bloomsburg. Okay, Nick, back to you, buddy.
Joe Pitt's invaluable to that team, and that is why Pat Winchester is sitting number 1 right now. Qualifying session 3 starts when we come back to Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania.
This Back Channel Productions program is presented in part by Monsters Monthly. For up-to-date show and ticket info, articles, event breakdowns, and a wide selection of photo and video galleries, visit monstersmonthly.com. This Back Channel Productions program is presented in part by Crush This. For an inside look at the world of monster trucks, check out Crush This, available on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube.
Back at the Bloomsburg Fairgrounds in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania, getting set for the final qualifying session in the Tough Trucks Challengers. Look at the times as they stand right now. Pat Winchester, Nick Anderson sitting way up on top of the field, followed by Al Varner. Foy Toy Broncos, Mike Loopold, and the Godfather, Jake Nichols, rounding out the top 5. One more time this weekend, these two will face off in a qualifying session. Pat Winchester, who's number 1 right now here in Bloomsburg, takes on your points leader, Nick Anderson, in the bright red Central Ohio Tires Chevrolet. Anderson over on the nose a little bit there as they head for the infield. Winchester with a slight lead. Not anywhere near as much dust as we saw here this afternoon. The track is actually quite damp, and that could really cut into the possibility of bettering their times. But they should remain in those top spots at least through a good bit of this qualifying session, because these guys coming in behind them are going to have to go some to try to match them. They are about dead even heading out onto the front stretch. Winchester stretching it out just a little bit. He'll come across the finish line. Nick Anderson with the rear end coming around to the right on him again, just like he did in session number 2. Hopefully, that's something that won't plague him for the rest of the weekend when he gets into elimination. Pat Winchester 2/10 of a second slower than he was in the qualifying session number 2, and Nick Anderson slowed down fairly significantly there, but they both remain in the 1 and 2 positions in qualifying. Up next, Joey Bates, Purple Rage. He's been getting some hang time here this weekend. He's lined up next to a guy, Tony Martinez, who's trying to find the winning formula right now. He has not had quite the runs he was looking for in Bloomsburg. Hopefully, this truck will come around for him here in session number 3. We know he's got the horsepower to put to the ground. This truck runs awesome when he gets it set right. Tony Martinez lined up. They get the thumbs up, and those two take off. This normally would be a pretty even matchup, but Joey Bates has just been laying it down. You see right there. Really being on that outside lane in the first full turn can be to your advantage. You can really come flying over that second jump now. Heading out onto the loop, Joey Bates with a slight lead in Purple Rage. Boy, they are even coming back into the tunnel. Joey Bates from the inside corner looks to be ahead, but Martinez is technically right with him. Watch. Back onto the front stretch. Martinez looking good. Boy, Bates pouring the power to the Purple Rage, trying to get past him there. He'll go into the number 6 spot. Look at that, 0.6 of a second faster than Tony Martinez. Martinez bettered his time. Joey Bates did not, but Bates still got the better of those 2 runs, and he had to catch Martinez right at the end. As we take a look at it here on replay, watch Joey Bates leap to the finish line, and the Purple Rage dodge down on the nose. What a jump for Joey Bates. He's been doing that all weekend long. Now we take a look at a pair of Buckeye Bandits. You see the Ford-bodied Chevy-powered machine of Travis Stevens called One Last Shot. Beautiful looking truck. Out of the state of Ohio, taking on another Ohio veteran, Al Varner, in the AJ's Transmission Bounty Hunter, currently sitting number 3. If there were 2 guys who could really put a hurting on Pat Winchester and Nick Anderson, it could be these 2 guys right here. Very, very evenly matched pair of trucks. Stevens with a real aggressive shot coming out of the tunnel right there. He's looking better than he's looked all weekend long, and he's really pouring the power to it right now. Look at him drifting out. He is hanging with Al Varner. Good pair of runs for both of those guys right there. That is the best run Stevens has laid down so far this weekend. Varner will remain in the number 3 spot for the moment. Travis Stevens will jump from 7th to 4th. That'll knock Mike Loopold down to 5th. We're going to take a quick break and be back with more qualifying. Stay with us.
At the beginning,
Back at the Bloomsburg Fairgrounds in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania, as the sun sets over the Pocono Mountains, we are going qualifying in the Tough Trucks Challenge. Here you see the Flying Dutchman, Scott Rock, Lucky 13, takes on Brett Spanenberg in Beer Money, another member of the Foy Toy Racing Camp. Sponenberg has not been able to get down the track the way he would like here this weekend. He's had all kinds of problems, incurred a penalty in session number 2 when he came off the right-hand side of the lane that Roth is currently in. Now back in that outside lane. We will see if that is to his advantage. Roth taking a lead, heading out onto the infield. And look at Sponenberg get aggressive as he leaps off the front stretch and onto the grass. Valiant last effort for Sponenberg trying to get the big blue Bronco into the eliminator. Roth looking real good right now. Sponenberg trying to play catch up, and a big problem right there. That is going to hurt him. Roth pouring the power to it as he comes down the front stretch. Nice flat landing for him right there. And Sponenberg, we'll see. Scott Roth jumping into 10th. He'll knock Tony Martinez down to 11th, and Brett Sponenberg did not make the field. He could come back as an alternate, but right now he's looking at a consolation race for a little bit of prize money. Up next, we'll see Craig Prouty in the 41 Rocket start making his way out onto the track. An interesting story behind that body on that truck. Tim Howard had a chance to talk to Craig a little bit earlier.
Man, you're looking pretty good out there today. What do you got for us in this next round of qualifying?
Well, we're going to have to step it up a little bit. We dropped a couple spots in the last run, so this time we're gonna have to push a little bit harder. In the turns is probably the best place to make up time, and so I hope we got some good traction out there today.
Definitely looks like the corners are where the times to make up. You had no problem down the straightaways with this beautiful thing. So I wanted to ask you, being the old 41 body, is it true it kind of came out of the Anderson camp?
Well, sort of. When Dennis sold the truck, King Sling, this body was still left in Florida. He had never taken delivery of it, and so I found out about it and I bought it. So it is a true King Sling body.
That's what we heard, and it's a beautiful truck, man. I always love watching you run, especially when over the bus for us in Little Valley and stuff like that. We wish you the best today, man. Any sponsors or anybody you want to give a shout out to?
We got Scott Battery back in Ohio. That's a good sponsor for us. Mosier Engineering, really good parts, and RCV axles in the front. So we got some good stuff inside this thing.
Okay. Well, I know you're getting ready to go, and I appreciate you giving us the time, and we wish you the best of luck.
All right.
We'll come back and see you later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Prouty, always a fun one to watch. One of the best working pieces of equipment out here today. Truck likes to stay low and fast over these big jumps. He's taking on the guy who's currently in the number 16 spot on the bump. That is Joe Bates Sr. in the silver mullet Ford Ranger, who looks a little bit conservative right now. I don't know if that's intentional or if he's having a mechanical problem, but Greg Prouty looking good in the 41 Rocket. I can tell you Bates would love to get off that bump spot before the end of this session so he doesn't run the risk of getting knocked out. There's still a few guys behind him that could do it. Greg Prouty, probably on the best run he's had all weekend long. The 41 Rocket out onto the front stretch, headed toward the finish line. Bates with some problems. Look at that Chevrolet go across the finish line. Let's see what he did. Greg Prouty. He just knocked Roth down to 11. Joe Bates Sr. remains in the number 16 spot. We got more to go. Stay with us.
At the beginning,
Monster Power is the place for all the action of the 2019 Lucas Oil 4-Wheel Jamboree Series featuring the Tough Trucks Challenge. A look at the times as of right now in session number 3. From Pat Winchester at number 1 down to Mike Leupold in 4th, not much has changed. So you get to Joey Bates, Purple Rage Dodge. He knocked the Godfather, Jake Nichols, out of the number 5 spot. We will see if Nichols, the Foy toy, can jump back into the top 5. He will be running here in a moment. There you see, speaking of Foy toy racing, Mike Leupold in a brand new for 2019 Warhorse, taking on an ailing Magnanus Ford Ranger of Seamus Conway. That truck kept losing power during this run. He would end up 20th. Not making the field. Mike Leupold, though, hanging in there. Not a bad run for him in the Warhorse. There you see John Cause, the Violator, who got the measure of Paul Hackle on the beginning of this run, and it looked like Cause may end up spoiling the top 16 until that happened. Vehicle shut off. Paul Hackle putting on a real aggressive drive in the Swamp Donkey, basically on a buy run at this point. Koss would drive off the track and back into the pits. Get that truck ready for the consolation run tomorrow. Paul Hackle, though, ended up a second and a half slower than he has been all weekend. Put him in the number 15 spot, but for the moment he is in the bracket. Colin Dorshimer, no boundaries, who was paired up with Tim Conway at the beginning of the weekend. Of course, Conway violently tossed the Border Patrol Ford over. That leaves Colin out here on a bye run. Had a good run going, but it would end up being the worst run he laid down all weekend long. Cuts the corner too tight and balls one of the Yodoc barriers. He would creep the truck across the finish line. He'd remain in the number 8 spot, though, for the moment. Puts him in the top half of the field. And we head back to the starting line. Pair of Foy Toy Fords lining up right here. The New York-based team. The Godfather Jake Nichols nearest the camera in the white Bronco you see right there. Came out of qualifying session number 1 in first place. He got knocked down to 5th. Session number 2, and now trying to get back up into that top 5. Joey Bates knocked him out of the top 5. He and Scott Martin, though, they've been a good pairing all weekend long. Look at that! He pulled a slap wheelie. Jake Nichols, one of the more fearless drivers. He's been at this for a while. He knows what that truck will do. That is an old truck, still out here running hard. I'll tell you how well built this thing is. Scott Martin looking good here in hauling ass. We'll see what Nichols has as he comes down the front stretch of the inside lane. We'll see if he gets that big air he got in session number 2. He does. Leaping way past the finish line. Not a bad run. He'll stay in the number 6 spot. Jake Nichols in the Foy toy. Scott Martin will land in the 13th spot. Hauling ass, not quite what he was looking for, but he has made the field. We're going to take another look at this leap by Jake Nichols. Look at him pushing hard, coming back out onto the straight stretch, and then just putting the power to it, leaping over the finish line. Jake Nichols. Truck lands so well. Always lands nice and flat. Our final pairing. The Tough Trucks Challenge qualifying. Here you see Thomas Faust in Mad Money, the bright green Ford nearest the grandstands, taking on John Yoder, the under pressure Jeep out of Ohio. Yoder has a history of endoing off these finish line jumps. Both of these guys will tell you that they need more horsepower. So that's really their only problem, because both of these machines run very, very well. You see how flat Yoder's vehicle stays, and you see how aggressive that Faust is able to get with the Ford, but not quite what they're looking for in horsepower. They both said that they could use more. Pretty even right now. Faust looking better than he's looked all weekend long, and I guess you could say it's a pair of Fords out there on the track right now, because the Jeep has a Ford engine in it as they come down the final straight. Yoder almost 0.2 of a second faster, and Thomas Faust 0.8 of a second faster. Land him number 11 spot. Yoder into 8th. That'll knock Helen Dorshimer down into the bottom half of the field. There you see Pat Winchester hanging on in the number 1 spot, going after the points lead. Nick Anderson, your points leader. Second, Al Varner. You see Travis Stevens up in 4th place, and Mike Leupold in the Warhorse hanging on in the top 5. Joe Bates remains on the bump spot. Looks like he will make the field tomorrow, though. The way our bracket works out, Bates will take on Winchester right off the top. It's going to be a tough run for him. John Yoder against Helen Dorshimer. Travis Stevens and Tony Martinez. That should be an awesome matchup for Mike Leupold and Scott Roth. Round out the first half of the bracket. Nick Anderson and Paul Hackle. Joey Bates and Craig Prouty. Al Varner and Scott Martin, another one that should be an awesome matchup. And then Jake Nichols against Thomas Faust. That might be a little bit lopsided, but Thomas Faust is definitely going to fight back against the Godfather. We've had an awesome weekend of qualifying action. Cannot wait to get to eliminations here on Sunday. Thanks for joining us for this edition of Monster Power. We will see you next time.